speak another language? How many of you learned a foreign language in school? How many of you wished you knew a foreign language? Many of you know that these questions are about bilingualism and the lack thereof, which is precisely what I'm going to talk to you about today. Diversity is all around us in today's society. Look around. The classroom we're in right now is diverse, and the same can be said about elementary school classrooms. According to a study conducted by the Center for Applied Linguistics in 2009, 25% of public schools are teaching a foreign language to elementary school students. I am proposing that they increase that number to 100% and make learning foreign language mandatory for elementary school students. As an elementary education major, working on achieving my certification in ESL, I have done extensive research on this topic. Learning a second language in elementary school should be mandatory because of cultural enrichment, future career opportunities, and cognitive advantages. Learning a language is easier at a young age, and that is a well-known fact, but there are many more reasons as to why students in elementary school should be learning a foreign language. According to the PEW Research Center, more and more American public school students are gaining a similarly diverse experiences at school. Because of such diversity, it is essential for young children to learn a foreign language, to gain cultural enrichment and cross-cultural understanding. When students learn a foreign language, they gain cross-cultural understanding because language is tied in with culture. And because of this close connection, children also gain a new perspective on the world, and they begin to accept diversity, which also boosts empathy because children see other perspectives and other cultures' points of view. This growing diversity means there's an increased need for cultural awareness, which is why this is why a foreign language should be taught at elementary school. When you learn a foreign language, you also open up doors for career opportunities because fluency in another language is an important skill for the workplace. According to Mary Ellen Flannery, a writer for the National Education Association, English is not sufficient to meet the nation's needs in a shrinking world. This means that learning a foreign language is valuable for career opportunities, and learning a language in itself opens up the doors to career opportunities in fields such as education, business, translating, government, etc. Pretty much any field you get into, learning a language is a valuable asset to have. This means that you are a more competitive applicant and you are more likely to get hired. So learning a language opens up doors and career opportunities, which I think is useful for kids in their future. When you learn a language, you also have cognitive advantages. According to a study conducted in cognitive advantages in areas in problem solving and creativity, according to a study conducted in Scotland, bilingual children outperformed children who only spoke one language in problem solving skills. This result was linked to mental alertness that is required to switch between languages, and it was said that this increased critical thinking and problem solving skills. They also found a link to formal training, meaning that the kids who learned a foreign language in school also tended to perform well in this survey. According to Paul Egan and Don Kowchek, both writers in the field of educational psychology, learning theorists believe most of human learning comes from problem solving. And if this statement is true, that means encouraging problem solving is essential in our students. Learning a language also increases creativity. When you learn a language, you are learning to express yourself in a different way. For example, when you don't know what you want to say, you have to find alternative ways to communicate and express yourself. This increases creativity. And creativity has been linked to problem solving, and both of these skills are developed when you learn a second language. Now, my goal for incorporating a foreign language program in elementary school may be a lofty or an unrealistic one. Many of you may think it is a lofty or an unrealistic one, but it is indeed possible. My main goal is for exposure, to provide kids exposure to a foreign language, and the sub-goal, of course, is proficiency. I want to focus on exposure because when you focus too much on proficiency, then it leads to testing, and I don't want it to be so much of a focus on testing. because if you focus too much on testing, that takes the enjoyment out of learning. And a lot of you may wonder how this is going to be incorporated, how often the instruction is going to be given, and if it can fit into an elementary school schedule. And that's why I showed an illustration here that shows a typical schedule. Again, these schedules, elementary school schedules, vary depending on the school district and the school that you're in. But I just want to show that by circling areas where you could add a foreign language class. And so it is possible to incorporate a foreign language class in the schedule. You just have to change some things around. And it's recommended that it's done 3 to 5 times a week for 30 minutes to an hour. And it can be incorporated as a special, or it can be an actual class. Now, my design is based off of the FLES program, which is an actual program designed for teaching a foreign language in elementary school. And my program has 2 parts. The first part is the exploratory program. It's for the younger grades, kindergarten through 2nd grade. They learn multiple languages 1 to 2 times a week. And culture, it focuses on culture and language as a concept. And there is limited fluency because of the emphasis on the culture and the basics of the language. And I think it's a good program as an introduction and for the younger students as a starting point, so they're not just thrown into the bigger classroom just so they're just as a good introduction. And the next part of my program is the sequential FLES program. This is for the upper grades, 3rd through 5th, and so you learn 1 language 3 to 5 times a week. It's a distinct subject, or it can be a special, and it's good and you gain substantial fluency from this, and it's good for older kids now that they have been introduced to learning a language. And at this age, they can choose which language they want to learn because they've already been exposed to it when they were younger. In conclusion, foreign language should be incorporated into the elementary school curriculum. It is important for children to gain cultural enrichment in such a diverse world. Foreign language can also open the doors for future opportunities, and it can provide cognitive advantages useful to young children. Now imagine a world where everyone spoke or was exposed to a foreign language. Would people be more understanding and accepting of other people? Would they have more opportunities? Would they be strategic problem solvers and creative thinkers? I believe they would. And this is indeed possible if foreign language was taught at a young age. Thank you.